When was the last time you went to bed and thought,
Today was actually a really good day.
this is the page that made me fall back in love with my everyday life?
And we're gonna show you exactly what's on it so you can build your own version.
Stay till the end because the last section is my favorite, where you don't write a single word, but it's getting more beautiful every time you come back to it.
So grab your journal, something to drink, and let's go.
The title of the section is I can't change things, but I can change how it feels.
I want you to think about things in your life that you genuinely don't enjoy. Something you have to do whether you like it or not.
Write those down and below solutions how you could romanticize it and make it more enjoyable.
Let's say it's riding the train for 2 hours every single day. Also known as 2 hours that are technically your free time, but we all still manage it to waste it on our phones.
At first glance, it seems really annoying that you have to sit on a train for that long. But 1 hour is also enough to finish 4 book chapters, knit an entire section of a scarf, or get so invested into an audiobook that you're almost annoyed when you arrive.
You can bring a pillow, lean against the window, make yourself comfortable, and oh my god, see the difference? Okay, I think maybe a smaller one will also do the job.
Or let's say it's the kitchen you always need to clean, so to make it more enjoyable, you create a dancing playlist you put on every time it's time to clean. Or you could call a friend and do it together via FaceTime. You could also put on a show you are only allowed to watch while you clean.
So much of our day is made up exactly out of those moments. The commuting, the waiting, the getting ready. And most of us, I include myself, live those days on autopilot because we are so used to them. And I know this sounds a little bit meh, like, oh yeah, a playlist, that's gonna fix everything.
But the goal of this page is that you stop going through those moments, hoping they will be over soon, and start making the best out of them. Making them yours. Because those moments are not in between your life, they are your life. You have them every day. And I know sometimes deciding to enjoy a chore is easier said than done. So speaking of making the boring stuff feel less meh, if you're someone who struggles with finishing your to-do list, you might like the app I built called Do the Frog. It's a way to gamify your day, so in short, you get strawberries for finishing tasks and can trade them later for rewards. I'm not gonna spend the whole video talking about it now because I already made a separate one on that, which I linked below. Give it a try if you want to make your to-do list a bit more fun, but for now, let's move on to section 2. The first part is called This Is My Life Right Now.
Section 2 is about 2 versions of you, the one you're right now and the one you're becoming.
Write down who you're spending the most time with, what you're working on, what songs you have on repeat, how your hair looks. You can stick a photo of your current self here if you want, what you think about when you wake up, what you're stressed about, what you're excited about.
And I want you to think about your life exactly as it is right now, in this moment. Right here. This version of you won't exist forever. Like right now is the only time you will get her because you will grow, life will change, and one day probably you'll look back at this version and gonna miss her.
Right below that or next to it, write down what you're looking forward to in your life.
Falling in love with your everyday life means also knowing that this everyday life, right now, is building towards that version you're looking forward to, that you get excited for, because remember, one day you're gonna be this version.
You get to decide the time frame. Maybe it's the version of you in 6 months or in 6 years. If you want this is a nice little extra, you can also add a section called I want to try in my life.
And I need you to forget everything you know about goal list, bucket list, because this list should just be for your curiosity. Things you've always been curious about, but you never did them.
A book genre you always thought wasn't for you. Going to acting class, trying jet ski, learning Chinese. Your life isn't a finished book. You're not even close to the last chapter.
The goal with this list is to keep your everyday life feeling like it has unexplored corners. Like there's always something new you could try or that is waiting for you. And sometimes on a random Wednesday when everything feels a little bit grey, you open this list and do something from it.
Section 3.
Remember when I said I saved the best one for the last? Yay, we are here! It has one rule, and the rule is that there are no rules.
I want you to draw tiny boxes all over the page, as many as you want. They don't have to be drawn very prettily, the messier the better. These boxes are going to be your doodle memory cards.
What a cool name, right?
The way they work is pretty simple. Every time something makes you happy, you come back to this page and draw it.
Not write it, draw it. Even if you can't draw. Especially when you can't draw.
This is what the entire video has been about. Fall in love with your everyday life again. A cake you baked that actually turned out good. A snowflake that fell into your hand and you took a picture of it because you couldn't believe how pretty it was. A text someone sent you that made you smile so hard you had to stop doing what you were doing.
This page doesn't just collect your happy moments, it teaches you to find them. The goal is that you want to fill those boxes, and because of that you move through your life a little bit differently because you always look out for things that you could draw next.
You start noticing the rainbow instead of walking past it. You look at the flowers someone gifted you instead of just putting them in a vase.
And every time you come back to this page, you will remind yourself that your everyday life already has so many amazing little moments. And I feel like this is also a little bit of proof to yourself that an ordinary Tuesday has also something special on it. When people talk about romanticizing their life, the first thing that I think about is that you buy yourself flowers, you light candles, and just make everything more prettier. But I think at the end of the day, it's just that you remind yourself to stop rushing through life and stop treating it like it's a to-do list you always need to check off. Think back to last Tuesday. What do you remember from it? Probably nothing. Like, I remember very little. And I feel like it's not because nothing big happened. It's just that I wasn't really there. I just lived that day on autopilot. Can you remember also back when we were kids and it was summer and that summer day felt like it was a whole week? And I feel like it was just because we were so present, we were so engaged, and life, we were like curious what would happen. And now it's just gotten so predictable that we're not looking out for new things because we feel like we know already everything, and because of that it feels like kind of gray. Maybe we should stop asking ourselves how we can romanticize our lives and just think about when we stop. I hope this journal page will be the start of you falling back into love with your everyday life. And remember, it doesn't need to be pretty. Do you see that? What is that? That is a carrot cake. Could you tell that this is a carrot cake? Probably not, but who cares? At the end of the day, I think we need to remind ourselves that those ordinary days are actually our complete life, because those big special moments that happen maybe 2 times a year or something, they are not our lives. This right now is our life.